Welcome aboard, everybody. I'm your pilot wannabe. Today we're going to do another leg. I think it's leg 4 of the Lower 48 Capital Cities tour. This isn't the video I was going to do today, but I'll explain that when we're looking at the flight plan. But obviously, our plane today is going to be a Cessna Skymaster. We'll talk more about that after the flight plan. See you in a few. Here we are in Sky Vector, of course. We had last left off in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania down here, where I had a nice landing. For a change, had a nice landing. We were in a similar plane then, the 182 RG, but we'll talk more about that probably when we're looking at the plane. So Harrisburg, Pennsylvania to Albany, New York is the plan today. I've got some VOR waypoints on the way. Plan on flying at 9,000 feet. I think we're gonna do a simulated. Well, everything's simulated, but a IFR flight. Although we're not going to be in contact with the in-sim ATC because that blows. I'll do it sometime where we'll follow along with the ATC, but it's a pain. But at any rate, we're going to Albany. I've actually I've landed there. I thought about trying to pick an airport near Albany, so I'd get a different airport in, but the two nearest ones are very much kind of not in Albany, and I wanted to make sure I was hitting the appropriate city here. Let's see, it says northwest of Albany, but it's Albany International Airport. Let's see, control tower, yes. Addis, I should. You know what? I'm going to write that down this time. 120.45. Bear with me here. 120.45 is the Addis. I'll try and throw that in COM2 if we can. They've got a couple of good-sized runways here. Yeah, both runways are more than we need for this plane. We'll try to figure out which runway we're likely to land on when we're in the air. So I'm not really going to bother getting into looking at the true headings and whatnot just yet. Let's see. 100 low lead's a good price there right now, $5.31. That's pretty cheap from what I've seen over here. And the Jet A is more. That's kind of unusual. Most of the time, the Jet A, which is like diesel, as we have discussed before, Jet A is usually cheaper. But yeah, interesting. All our fuel is virtual today, though, so shouldn't be a problem. I checked out the weather and stuff. Minor headwinds, especially towards the end of the flight. Wasn't too many other things of note. That said something about icing, and I don't know exactly how to read the all of the information on those things, but if I was understanding what I was looking at, the icing was for considerably higher than what we're going to be flying. I mean, as it is, this is a non-turbocharged plane, and two engines or not, it's going to take a little while to get all the way up to 9,000 feet, and that's as high as we're going to go. And I don't think there's icing to worry about up there. And said there might be some turbulence. Where did it say the turbulence was? So let's go back and look at where was the turbulence. Yeah, the turbulence is out east of us, so shouldn't be a factor. And the weather all looked good. All these colorful ones here are different weather radar type looking things here. And yeah, it looks like it's clear the whole way. So we'll see. Okay, well, I'll catch you guys back at the airplane. All right, here we are. The Cessna 337H Skymaster. I meant to look up all the nicknames for this plane. This plane has a lot of nicknames. I'll hit you with just a couple of my favorites. Mixmaster is one of the nicknames. It's not really necessarily my favorite nickname, but it's easy to remember for some reason. You know, obviously, this is a strange plane in that there's an engine in the front and an engine in the rear. And you've got this twin boom, large tail assembly. You've got twin vertical stabilizers and one great big honkin' horizontal stabilizer. And it's got retractable gear that looks similar to the gear in the 182 RG, although that one is a lot. Its operation appears to be more simple. This has some intricate clamshell doors that open and close back again, and it's pretty odd. I'll try to get a shot of it in action if I can. Oh yeah, nicknames. The only other nickname that sticks out in my head that is my favorite is the old suck and blow, because obviously you've got the propeller in front is sucking and the propeller in back is blowing. So the old suck and blow. I mentioned in the intro that this was not the video I was going to shoot today. I wanted to do the Cessna 310 from Milviz, and I had it all worked out where I was going to do one of the videos like where I am buying one and taking it home. And I had found one online, and I almost identical livery to one that's available in the simulator, and was all set to go. But for some reason, the Cessna 310 is broken. I won't get into the details, but it wasn't going to work for the video. And so we'll try it again sometime. I don't know what's going on with it. Hopefully there's going to be some kind of an update to straighten it out, or maybe the last update for the simulator screwed it up. I don't know. We'll see. There's not a lot of time left before Flight Simulator 2024 comes out. Hopefully they get things worked out. Anyway, let's talk about this plane. It's from Carenado, the developer that makes very attractive, very realistic looking models for the sim. Really, really gorgeous looking plane. And then the systems depth is not terribly detailed. So in that department, it'll be a simpler flight today than what we were going to have in the 310. The 310 is when it came to the simulator, when it became available in the simulator, as far as GA planes, it was probably the most deep and most detailed model that we had available. Now it's been a little outshined by things like the Duke and the A2A Comanche, but that's a story for another day, since we're going to be in this fairly simple Mixmaster here. But yeah, this plane, you know, typical of my favorite planes. It was developed in the early to mid 60s. This model, the H, was introduced in 78, and I think was made until they stopped making Skymasters entirely in like 82. So, you know, same old thing, same kind of plane I'm always interested in. All right, we'll pretend to get inside and talk about some other stuff here. I'm gonna do a little trickery here, and poof, now we can get inside. Let's see if I can close this door from out here. I'm betting I can if I around here. Can I? No, I'll have to close it with the tablet, I guess. Or you get a little air step in this one. So this one's set up as a 4-seater. I guess you can have some little have another little jump seat in the back here. It doesn't look like it would be terribly comfortable. Probably a lot better off as just a 4-seater. But we'll climb up in here and check it out. All right, this door I can close from in here. I think we're gonna go ahead and open our little vent window there. People have commented about or complained about how tinted the windows are. And yeah, they are somewhat tinted, but it's never really bothered me much. I find it interesting that there's always this, it looks like a dead bug, maybe a dead fly or something. Uh, I swear sometimes I can see like a wing flapping in the wind, but yeah, it'd be nice if you could clean it once in a while. But no, it just is what it is. But it is obviously a highly detailed, very attractive model. Let's see if I really thought there was a way to close this door from the inside. Oh well, I guess we'll use the tablet. Okay. Grab the tablet. The only thing I'm going to do with the tablet is close the baggage door. I think we're going to leave the co-pilot out of the mix today. I already have it. It has, static elements, which is to say, wheel chocks and pitot covers and whatnot, and external power, but we're not going to mess with any of that. We certainly don't need the external power. Well, I guess it's possible still to kill the batteries, even though it's not a very detailed add-on. You can always kill the battery. You can kill the batteries in any of the planes, I'm pretty sure. But this plane, you don't have things like circuit breakers modeled or anything like that. I don't think Carenado has any planes that have circuit breakers modeled. Oh, and I guess it's worth mentioning. I had because I was going to shoot with the 310. I had my control scheme all set up for the 310, and I have not made sure that it's all set up for this. So we're just gonna roll with it, see how it goes. But I'm probably gonna have to use the mouse cursor a lot more for things because I won't have things, uh, you know, bound to physical buttons enough. So we'll see. Also, originally there was going to be a whole lot of running through the checklist for the 310 because it's a complicated model and things can be actually wrong with it. It has random failures and it has a persistent state savings. So if I left switches in the wrong place, they would still be in the wrong place, and that was part of what was not working with the 310 right now. It was the persistence was shot. And now I hear another airplane running somewhere nearby. Sounds loud. At least loud in my headset. That's somewhere behind me. Okay, so I guess we're going to close this window after all. Yeah, it's not like we have a, cabin temperature mini game going on in here, so c'est la vie. Alrighty, well, we're just gonna run like you have no checklist at all. We're gonna be like I'm stealing this plane and I'm just trying to operate it from memory of how this plane should work. Okay, the fuel valves. I don't know why, but by default, they're in the wrong position. I would think if you're gonna have them in the wrong position by default, you would have them just in the off position. But instead it has them in sort of the crossfeed position, which is strange. But normally with a twin engine plane, you've got a left engine working off the left wing tank and a right engine working off the right wing tank. And obviously, since this is a front and rear engine, you've got a different arrangement here. So I believe let's see, this is the rear engine is supposed to operate off of the right tank, and the front engine is supposed to operate off of the left tank. So there's that. Let's see, next up would maybe be power. Let's see what happens when I hit the battery switch on my honeycomb. That's the wrong switch. Well, I know that one works the alternators. All right. Hey, yeah, I hit the battery switch and I got both batteries. Awesome. That works. And let's do a beacon light. Yeah, a lot of these things should work still. Let's see, the cowl flaps are both open. They're just toggle switches on this. It's an open-closed arrangement, and I'm not sure I ever had any luck binding those to a physical switch anyway. But here we can take a look on the outside again at the cowl flaps. Okay, front cowl flaps, or front engine cowl flaps, looks just the same as the 182RG that we were in a while back. And then the rear engine cowl flaps are off to the sides here. So let's go back inside and just close those for fun. Can't really watch them close because, you know, it's just an on-off proposition. See, closed up, nice and smooth. Closed up. Okay, let's back this camera off a little ways because if I go back to this camera while we're in the air, it's going to be the loudest thing you ever heard. This is like a giant, I don't know, weed trimmer or maybe the world, a 5,000-pound angry bee. It's really loud. Okay, let's get the cowl flaps back open again so we don't overheat the engines. I'm not even sure that we can overheat the engines in this model. Oh, and this is also one of the planes that I spent a lot of time in the simulator. I think it's the first. It may be the first add-on airplane that I got for the simulator. It's for sure the first twin-engine airplane add-on that I got for the simulator. The hour meter here, yeah. 83 hours I've been in the Carenado Skymaster, so there's that. Let's see, what else should we do? I don't think there's primers for starting the engine on this one. Well, let's go ahead and hit the. We got fuel pumps, but we've got low and high, so again, it causes it to where the buttons I have bound for fuel pumps don't work because they just don't. When it seems to be a multi-setting thing like that, it never seems to work. So let's see. We always want to start the rear engine first so we can audibly be certain that it's running. So we're going to hit low fuel pump on the rear engine. We're going to let's see. We've already got the props full forward and the mixtures full forward. We're going to run the rear engine, which is the right-hand lever, all the way up and see if we get any fuel pressure. I don't think that's modeled. Should probably see the fuel flow gauge move, but I don't think it's modeled. We'll consider that a priming, and we'll leave the throttle cracked a bit. And then we got to do the rear engine magneto here. We'll pop that up to both. And then I'll watch the gauges and hit start. Actually going to hold the brakes too. Chugga chug, chugga chugga chug. And the rear engine is alive. Go ahead and turn the low fuel pump back off. And we'll back the throttle off a smidge. I don't know, I'll keep it between 1,000 and 1,200, I suppose. Alright, now we're going to do the same thing with the front engine. Give it the low fuel pump. We'll run it up, bring it back down and crack it. And, oh yeah, gotta do the magneto to both. And we'll hit start. May not be a highly detailed model, but it shakes real nice when you're starting it. Maybe not as nice as the Duke, but still. Okay, we'll turn that fuel pump back off, and we'll turn on the generators, or alternators as in this case, and we'll turn on the, what do you call it, avionics. And we'll see if we can turn the weather radar on standby. There we go. And let's see, what squawk code shall we make up for our simulated IFR flight? Let's go 3, 2, 1, 3. Sure, why not? Put that on standby. Alrighty. We've got a Garmin 530 in here. I think if you're on PC, you can get a GTN 750, which would be nice. But let's see. I can look on the tablet; it'll tell me. Oh, I'm awfully close to the tablet, but That's okay. Yeah, see, if you're on PC, you can get a couple of different GTN 750s, but us poor Xbox pilots, we're only stuck with the 530, which, you know, is fine. What else should we do? It's not like I need to check anything. Nothing's going to be broken. Let's back the mixtures off. Also, you know, we can't actually foul the plugs, but still we're going to pretend, and we're going to back the mixtures off. I don't think I'll make you guys sit through me programming the flight plan into the 530. So I'll just start it here. Let's see, flight plan. I'm trying to remember the first thing I'm supposed to do. Yeah, push that like it's a button, and we have to start with our origin, which is KMDT. So, okay. MDT. M. D. T. Harrisburg. That's where we're starting out. Okay. I'll go ahead and pause it and get back to you when I'm done punching that all in. See you in a minute. Alright, we've got the flight plan plugged in. I punched in the ATIS frequency of our destination and hit the switch to monitor COM 2. I put the, what do you call it, trim, the elevator trim in the takeoff position, right in the center of the takeoff position. What else do we need to do? Anything? I don't think so. We'll get the doors and windows closed. I guess we'll just call the, you know what? I'm already going to give us a notch of flaps. We've got, you know, multiple position flaps here, but I believe you're supposed to take off at the 1/3 position. I don't remember much about this plane. This isn't the plane I was supposed to be flying today. We're going to rotate around 65 or 70 knots and see if it leaves the ground. I mean, I don't remember the speeds so much. We'll figure out all the landing speeds and stuff once we're in the air. Like I said, we're kind of operating like we're stealing this plane today, although I'm going to call the tower. I believe there was a tower here in there. Yeah, we're going to call the tower and, you know, find out what, well, not the tower, we're going to call ground and see what runway we're gonna get. Now let's check our current weather here.
Harrisburg Airport information, Quebec 2000 Zulu.
Wind is calm.
Wind calm. Visibility 10. Sky condition 6,500 feet, scattered few clouds at 14,000 feet.
Sure.
28. 2.10.
2991 is what I'm after anyway, so 2991. So looks like it's already, it should be by default on 2992. This is one of those default planes, but that really looks like 2993, doesn't it? We're going to try turning it down 2 notches. Sure, that looks like 2991 to me. Let's see, do I have another altimeter somewhere? Yeah, over here. Yep. All right. Let's see, we're going to be departing to the east and making a turn to the north. So we're going to request departure to the east and see what they say.
Ground November 85 Papa Whiskey Bravo with Romeo request taxi to the active east departure.
November 85 Papa
It
Whiskey
sounds like
Bravo,
he said
taxiway
active
Ultra
yeast
runway 19
departure.
using taxiway Charlie Bravo Alpha. Contact tower on 124.8 when ready.
Let's see. Sure, I'll say okay.
Taxi to and hold short runway 13 via taxiway
Runway
Charlie Bravo Alpha
13,
Whiskey
or
Bravo.
1 tree, as they like to say. Get that up a little closer, then I'll use the knob here to move it. Oh, hang on. My little autopilot box. If I leave it plugged in, for some reason it doesn't work. The next time I go to fly, I have to unplug it and plug it back in again. Yeah, 1 3. That is 1 3. Close enough. And I don't know what our initial desired track is. We'll start rolling and we'll figure it out. Okay, let's release the parking brake, which is way down here, by the way. It's this little lever down here, but I've of course got it on the oh, it was already released. Oh, it must be one of those. It's another glitch where when I go into the drone camera and then when I come back to the cockpit, it releases the parking brake. Very strange. Like I said, I didn't really sink in how glitchy everything is until I started recording videos. Oh, one thing I forgot. I should have put the frequency of the first VOR into the nav radio. Let's see, the first VOR is LRP, Lima Romeo Papa. Frequency is 117.3. 117.3. 117.3. Swappy. And that should come up on something somewhere. We'll find it when we're in the air. Probably going to be this one right here. All right. So you're supposed to... I've read a lot of stuff about this plane, and I've read a few contradictory things and heard on videos and stuff some contradictory things. But from what I understand and what makes sense to me is when you're taxiing around, you're supposed to use just the front engine because the rear engine has a tendency to overheat. And so you just want to leave that at idle when you're taxiing around. I should have got a better look at the layout of this airport. Is this going to take me to a taxiway or to right to the runway? I think it's just a taxiway. And dodge these big lights. Whoa, that was a strange flash. I may not know where I'm going here. Well, hopefully this isn't a sidewalk or something. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here. Now it's leading us around to the taxiway, it looks like. Boy, a bit of a trek just to get to the taxiway. It's for, it's a one runway airport. Obviously, I wasn't paying attention to the what taxiways I was supposed to be using. Yeah, I've been seeing a lot of stuff about what Flight Simulator 2024 is going to be like, but haven't seen a lot of information about the ATC yet about it. I mean, they're hyping up a lot of really cool stuff about the simulator, but nothing about the ATC. So we'll see. Hopefully it's better. I guess we'll find out in a couple months. What was it I heard today? I heard on a video today something really interesting about Simulator 2024. And now... Okay, we're going to have to change that. There we go. I'm trying to remember what I heard on a video today about 2024. It was a fairly simple thing, but I thought it was really cool. Maybe it'll come to me. So I could have turned the volume down on the comm radio also. Ooh, we're trucking along here. What's our... Oh, 32 knots. Yeah, that's too fast. Let's slow down. All right. Getting near the end of the runway, it seems. Hopefully I'm not going too far. Probably just going into a parking area here. Yeah, I am. Look at that. All right, U-turn. This thing does turn on a dime on the ground. I worry a little bit about ground looping it, which, for those of you that maybe don't know, ground looping is when you turn too aggressively during taxiing or whatever, or for that matter, a takeoff or landing roll, turn too aggressively and, you know, at a minimum, touch a wing to the ground. You know, you go up on 2 of your 3 wheels and touch a wing to the ground, or worst case scenario, flip the plane entirely over. Yeah, that's called ground looping. All right, so let's see what we got here. Should we do a run up? You know, nothing's gonna be wrong with it, but just the same. Let's set the parking brake. Let's do a bit of a run up just for funsies. Oh, I guess I could have turned on the taxi lights and stuff. I didn't do that, did I? Let's go ahead and turn the nav light on and the landing lights. Oh, I might as well turn on the strobe light too. Turn on the taxi light. I can have all the lights on. The taxi and landing lights are on the nose of the plane. They're not on the landing gear, so none of that matters. All right, let's run it. I'm gonna leave the mixture down a little bit. But let's run it up to, I forget, I think you need to be at like 1800 for the simulator to let you test the props. So they're a little over 1800. But first, let's do the magnetos. I'm going to use the little switch on my honeycomb so I can just do both magnetos at the same time. We'll watch the RPMs drop. So there's just the left magnetos. Yeah, it dropped pretty significantly, actually. There's just the right magnetos. And back to both. Yeah, that dropped pretty significantly. Alright, let's try the props. No. 1800 RPMs isn't enough. Let's try 2000 RPMs. This is like a glitch in some of the older add-ons and stuff where the RPM has to be at a certain level before you can affect it with the prop levers. There, we got a little bit of an effect, not much. Alright, well that was cheap. Let's get ready for takeoff. Obviously we're not calling the tower and getting clearance and everything because I just don't respect them enough to call them. Altitude reporting. Blinky blinky is blinking as it should be. We're gonna run the, actually we're gonna switch this to north up and run the range out a bit. Yeah, we only have to turn a little bit to get on course. That'll be nice. See, we already got all the lights on. Let's put the low fuel pumps on for both engines. Cow flaps are still open. Windows and everything are closed. We can't set a target altitude. It's a very, very old school autopilot in here. But let's go full on the mixtures. Release the parking brake. Take a look out there just for funsies. Wow, I'm holding the brakes and it's rolling. I guess we're rolling. Okay, now counter to the taxiing. The takeoff roll, you want to start with the rear engine to make sure that it's functioning properly. It sounds okay and is developing power and all that, so I'm going full throttle on the rear engine right now. And it seems to be functioning fine, which there's no way for it to fail because it's a magic airplane. And full throttle on the front engine. And then she starts to pick up some speed. Oh, and picking up the wheels too. And away we go. Alright, I'm gonna try to do an outside shot for the landing gear. Let me get it in the right position. Ooh, that is so loud. Yeah. Yeah, that's crazy landing gear. Also crazy loud. Okay, let's also bring up the flaps, which you can't see. And let's bring the manifold pressure, which is that top double gauge over there, down to the top of the green. And the RPM's down to the top of the green. And we're not going to worry about mixture until we get above 3,000 feet. I'm going to trim the nose down a little because I'd like to not be climbing at ear-popping speeds. And I'm going to roll onto the course a little bit. I might as well turn off the fuel pumps too. If I can only reach one of them, fine, we'll get rid of that. We'll turn off that, and we'll bring that back. Okay, getting closer to on course. Let's see, I can turn off some lights. I'm going to turn off the landing and taxi lights. Leave on the beacon, nav, and strobe lights for now. Now, what is our desired track? Looks like our desired track is 113. Oh, still climbing like a banshee. Settle down there, buddy. Save some of it for when you're higher up and don't want to climb. All right. 113 is our desired track. Let's bring the heading bug over to that, roughly. No, hard to see from here. And now I can't see the outside. That looks like roughly 113. Oh my gosh, still climbing like crazy. Okay. I think I got it under control here. And we can turn the radar, weather radar on fully. Although I'm not expecting to see any weather. Okay. Yeah, as I said before, and as you noticed, when we had that outside shot, a couple of things. Very interesting, intricate, complicated landing gear arrangement. And also extremely loud, like a 5,000-pound angry bee. Okay, we're over 3,000 feet. I should probably try to lean it out a little bit. I'm getting off course a little bit too. I'm starting to have a lot of things to do. I'm just going to pull the mixtures back some. I'm not going to try to do anything official with them, with it currently. I need to change that because that started working. We'll change that in a minute. You know what? Let's do some autopilot because this is being a lot. All right. So the autopilot, if you wanted to turn it on with the mouse, is way down here. I'm going to turn it on. Yeah, like so. And then I'm going to hit. Nav mode, which yeah, that would be over here, but I'm hitting the button. Yeah, nav right in the middle there. The vertical speed, I believe it sort of holds its own vertical speed. I don't think the nav mode engaged, by the way. Let's do heading mode. It's probably because I was too far off of, yeah, I was too far off of the nav. Now we can use the heading bug to get us back over on the nav, and it should engage the nav mode itself. So, as you can see, we're off to the right of the magenta. But we're gonna get it over there and get it engaged with the nav mode right now. See, still climbing at 500 feet per minute. That's fine. I'm not gonna try to do anything about that, although it's kind of just doing that on its own. I think it's because when I turned on the autopilot, that's what we were climbing at, so it's going to try to hold that. So 113. That's a lot of twisting of this dial here on the VOR head here. One day I really need to learn what that's called. There we go. We're supposed to be on 113. That should be. Oh wait, 113? Yeah. Yeah, right there. 113. There we go. It's engaging the nav now, all on its own. Very nice. Now we're almost at 5,000 feet. Maybe I should tinker with the mixture some more? I don't know. I've got it halfway down already. Let's leave the mixture alone for now. Get a little higher, I'll start screwing with it. Oh, you know what? We can give it more juice. As we climb, the manifold pressure comes down because this is not a turbocharged airplane. So as we climb, we can increase. See, pushing. Matter of fact, I've got it all the way forward. So, yeah, the throttles are going to be all the way forward until we're ready to descend. So that's how that works. All right. I should put in the next frequency after that one in the nav radio. It'll be Z. Lima Victor Zulu is 111.6, so 111.6, and we'll be ready to swap that after we're on that leg about halfway. Let's see, how are we doing on RPMs? Well, I go ahead and bring the front engine RPM down to match the rear a little better. I'm betting for the whole climb you're supposed to be maybe more down on 2500 RPMs even, but we'll leave it at 2550. Alright, some other things to talk about as we wait and make sure the nav follows the turn that's upcoming. It has this lovely computer down here, except it doesn't have any of the usability that this sort of unit, this JPI unit, has in some of the other add-ons, because as you can see there's no buttons here to affect any changes to the display. You're just stuck with it revolving through every cylinder and all of the information that it gives. You can't do anything about it to make it stop. And it's strange to me how quickly that changes how useful this thing is to being just not really useful at all. When it comes to knowing what's going on with the engines in this, I mainly stick to the gauges over here. Oh, you know, one thing I didn't do at all was do anything with how much fuel we were carrying, or, you know, any of that stuff like I normally do. It's been it's been like almost a week since I recorded a video, and it's funny how quick you get out of whack on that stuff. You know what? It's probably also because this isn't the video I was going to make. If I'd been in the 310 and everything like I had all planned out, I probably would have still thought about doing the loading and stuff, especially since that plane displays your baggage. You can see the baggage when you choose to have baggage, and you can see all of the passengers in every seat from inside the plane when you do that. And so I most certainly would have messed with that, but as it is, we're taking off in this plane at the default settings, so that means I'm, as a pilot, I'm about 10 pounds lighter than I probably really am. There's probably a 170-pound invisible co-pilot sitting here. There's probably 0 baggage and half a tank of fuel. Let's see. Oh, no, 180 pounds. They got me right. Invisible co-pilot is 180 pounds, and look, we're down to 47%. This plane holds a lot of fuel, really, so half tank's probably going to get us there. Nothing that complicated about the fuel system on this one. It's just, you know, there's no auxiliary tanks or anything like that. The only complicated thing at all is, you know, how the rear engine goes to the right tank and the front engine goes to the left tank. That's just a little bit odd. Okay, so we successfully made the turn. Oh yeah, you got a thermometer up here. We'll have to keep an eye out, see if we need to turn on the pitot heat. So far we're still at, you know, 50 degrees Fahrenheit outside. Should be fine. Our desired trek now is 033. Let's crank that down. 033 is around about there. But for us to be centered, for us to get that needle centered, it wants us right on 030. C'est la vie. Let's go ahead and put the heading bug on our current course. What else was I thinking? Oh yeah, I was going to check our altitude. Yeah, because nothing's going to stop us. It'll keep trying to climb if I don't do anything. So It's bad enough when, I have to hit a button. But this one, there's just nothing. There's no pre-selecting an altitude. You just have to catch it. And we're at 7,500 right now. And of course, the manifold pressure's coming down. Let's see. Well, if we can get closer to a peak, maybe on the engines. Okay, I'm backing the mixture levers off right now, very, very slowly, and I'm watching the EGT gauge over here, exhaust gas temperature gauge. See if I can get a rise out of the gauges to get more power, get more like a peak fuel burn. Yeah, that's a little bit more like a peak. So we'll leave that alone. Still climbing at 500 feet per minute. Still pulling a pretty decent indicated airspeed. No idea what our true airspeed is. Our ground speed is 150, so we're doing all right. I don't have any indication here what kind of wind we're experiencing. Like I said, when I looked on SkyVector, there was headwinds towards the end, but not very aggressive headwind, and then the winds were just kind of all over the place on the way. So wind is probably not being too much of a factor in this. Well, let's see. We've got magnetos are on both. Oh yeah, down here is the avionics switch, which is a weird place. I think they put it on the dash here somewhere, on the panel somewhere. Anyway, batteries are on, alternators are on, fuel pumps are off, pitot heat's off currently. This is the ice detection light, a little light pointed at the leading edge of the wing over here on the pilot side. See nav on, strobe on, beacon on, taxi off, landing off. Autopilot, flight director, nav mode is on. We're at, getting close to our altitude, almost to 8,500. We're roughly 030 radial away from, what was that VOR we just left? Oh, I guess, you know what? I'm putting the VOR stuff only in nav 2 instead of nav 1. That's peculiar of me. Like I said, it's been like a week since I last filmed anything. I flew the 310 around a little bit the other day just to reacquaint myself with it. And of course, it was working fine then. Not working fine today. 7.3 is the one we just left. Yeah, LRP. And then the next one, LVZ 111.6. All right, so we're all geared up there. Ooh, almost to 9,000 feet. I'm gonna hit the altitude hold button. Oh, it doesn't show like it's a button here. I'll try it. It is a button. Okay. Yeah, we're landing a little below 9,000, but that's okay. All right, what's our temperature like outside? Still well above freezing. Looks like only like 45 degrees. I bet it's chilly in here, but who knows? We don't have a temperature gauge for in here. Let's pretend to turn. Oh, it's either an on or off situation. I clicked it thinking I was going to drag it, but wow. On or off? We'll turn the heat on. Why not? Okay, where are we at? Just kind of waiting for the speed to settle. Let's turn the CDI needle on the course here. Actually, I can do it with this now. All right, got all of our ducks in a row there. Let's see, we LRP 14 miles away from it and 22 miles away from LVZ, so not quite halfway yet. All right, let's get the engines into a cruise here. Okay, we got the throttles totally firewalled full forward. We're only pulling like 20.5 psi. So let's bring the RPMs down some. Let's just go. I'm not gonna obviously try to make it squared because that would get us below the green on the RPMs, getting down below 2100 RPMs. So let's go like roughly 24, a little over 24. All right, let's try to run Rich of Peak on the EGT. All right, one thing about when you're tinkering around with the engine settings on this plane, I kind of feel a little less obligated to do both of them simultaneously because, I mean, you got one engine in front, one engine in back. It's not like you're going to be getting asymmetric thrust by tinkering around with one engine. All the thrust is in the center anyway. So I'm just doing the front engine right now. Okay, it started coming down right away. I was near peak. So I'm pushing the front engine back forward again. That looks like the peak. We're gonna go 50 degrees rich of peak. Now I'm gonna do the same thing with the rear engine. That's about the peak. So I'm shooting for around 50 degrees. Rich of peak on the rear engine. All right, that gets our fuel flow down here to 51, 52 pounds per hour on the front engine, around 51 pounds on the rear engine. I can check the conversion on that in a little bit to see what that is in gallons. It's around 103 pounds per hour in total. I'll check in a minute. Okay. Weather radar, 240 miles out seems excessive. Let's bring it down to how many miles we got till our next one? 53. And to do next 40, 80. Yeah, let's leave it on 80. There's not going to be anything to see on that anyway. See, 19 miles till LVZ, and we're 22 miles from LRP. So let's swap those. Yeah, that's worked out. And I'll swap that one too. So nav 2 is connected to this. Nav 1 doesn't seem to be connected to anything but the Garmin itself. So interesting. Anyway, that got us a little closer to our desired track. Oh, let's see, what else can we check? Yeah, I wish I could use this computer down here. I mean, the temperatures are looking pretty good as it's just revolving around. Let's go ahead and close the KALB flaps and make us as smooth as possible. Alright, we are cruising. And I have no idea how long this video is going to be. Oh, I'll actually look outside. Yeah, definitely a prettier part of the country. It's probably going to be a more attractive flight scenery-wise than the one I was planning on doing. Because, you know, just flying back to Indiana, you know, boring, flat Indiana. Anyway, this one we're going from Pennsylvania to New York. So, all right. Like I said, I have no idea how long this video is going to be. So, I'm going to double check right now. But just in case, we might go ahead and call this the end of part 1 of this video, and I'll begin part 2 a little closer to the descent. Or if it feels like the time isn't going too bad, maybe I'll just come back closer to the descent and try to fit it all in one video. We will all find out in just a few moments. See ya. Yep. Yeah, I think we're already pushing like 50 minutes for this, so we're gonna call this the end of part 1. And after I turn the simulator volume down substantially, I'll give you an outside shot of this angry bee. It's a neat looking plane though. Something about it. And the visibility from the inside versus the 182 RG, which seems so similar. I think the visibility is even better from this because the cockpit is a little further forward, so you don't have the wing over the top of you. But the outside is really cool looking. Yeah, it's an unusual one. But yeah, the visibility in here is nice. You can see up as well as down if you once you duck down a little bit, because it's still got that effect where you're kind of looking at the top of the window frame when you turn to the side, but not as bad as the RG, their 182 RG, I should say. Okay, I should stop talking and end part 1. Okay, well, I'll see you guys in part 2 where we land in Albany, New York. Hopefully it's a decent landing, since I had a pair of terrible landings in the Learjet most recently. So, turn the volume back up here where it's supposed to be. Okay, everybody. See you guys in part 2. Papa Whiskey Bravo signing off.